Look, so what we're doing tonight is an experimental project. Let me see if I can turn this music down a little bit so that it doesn't take over. We just lost it. Sorry about that. Hopefully, I'm just waiting for me to get the announcement that we're live, and I can see on the Periscope chat that it looks like we're live on Periscope and that some of you may be there, but I'm not able to get the feedback loop to show me that we're live yet. We're still working on connecting it through the app. So I'll just be talking and letting you know what's going on. And if you want to live chat with me, then that will be in a few moments. So we'll get my music down a little bit. So everything that I'm doing, I'm wearing gloves at the moment. It's making it very difficult to touch anything and get my computer to respond to me the way I want to. So I have no way to see what it is that you guys see or if I'm even live, but we're going to work on this as we move along. Hey guys. All right, so what we're doing, I'm working on a project. This is going to be posted on the YouTube channel at Thermal Mermaid next week with the finished product. And what I have here is a hopefully deceased bird spider. This is a female tarantula. We're going to open her up and I'm going to show you about how big she is. We're going to get an idea of how flexible this is. I'm not sure exactly the method of preservation or what goes into preserving these. I'll just let anyone know who feels sensitive about it that this spider lived a perfectly long, satisfying life and she wasn't killed for the purpose of this, but she was actually preserved after she passed away. Although I'm kind of curious, I do know that when it comes to taxidermy on these guys, they actually open up the bottom, the guts underneath, and they stuff it with cotton. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to affect how we're going to mold and cast this into a large bar of soap. So this is going to be a novelty item where we'll have our spider cast into a bar of soap, and then a person can buy this, and if they're courageous enough, wash themselves wearing down the soap, coming closer and closer to this beast. However, we won't be doing the entire project tonight. I will be kind of opening this and working with it to see what I'm working with. This is an experiment. I have no way. Do you get that on Amazon? You can get them on Amazon. I got this one on eBay. I believe you can get them on Amazon. So she cost me about $30. So as I'm looking at this, it really does not look like her abdomen has been stuffed with cotton. It looks like maybe it does look like her innards have been removed for preservation. I believe that they do that. We'll check that out in just a minute as I'm about to open it up. So what we're going to do is she's going to be molded and cast into a large bar of soap, about 2 pounds worth of soap. And I'm going to recreate a scene on the bottom that will be like a terrarium that she might live in. And I'll let you guys know that I can't see the chat still. So if I actually lean over and look at the phone, I'm able to see that. But mostly if you say something at this time, I won't be able to see it. So we'll just roll with it. So over here on my left, or maybe on your right, we have these pieces of what look like rocks and granite. This is actually not. This is handmade soap that I created earlier. I'm making it out of these blocks right here that I made previously a few days ago, and we're going to mold and sculpt and turn these into what looks like these pieces of granite, these shiny pieces. And then we'll take these and we'll place them on the bottom of her terrarium, and then we'll cover her in a crystal clear setting of soap. And I'll probably put some succulents and some cactus, little cactus plants that we'll all create later on coming up in the night. Thank you so much. I haven't actually gone all the way out in making these, but some of these pieces are starting to look beautiful. So so once I wash these, they'll be more smooth and have a more tumbled look to them. And then actually we'll probably move along with a better, an actual granite tutorial over on the website so you can make these rocks. These are kind of popular right now, and we'll do these separately. But I'm kind of just working on them right now. The real experiment is that I don't know how well she'll preserve in the soap. This is entirely organic material. So it's not really like you can, save an organic thing for a super long time. So we're going to see what went into preserving her. I do see some kind of a chemical stain there on the base where she's mounted. There are a ton of these tiny little hairs that are getting caught up in the staples, and these hairs are falling off her, so she may be very delicate and fragile, and I may be able to pose her or not. So we're going to open this up, and if it comes back to life while I'm opening it up, I have to move. I'm just going to leave, and the broadcast will just be empty for a while because I'm going to run out of my house, and I will send a real estate agent back in tomorrow. But hopefully that's not going to happen, and we're going to have a successful show here. So let's open her up and see what happens. I have a story about these guys live. Years and years ago, I was with my daughter's father before. Oh, and I really kind of don't want to do this. Okay. I was with my daughter's father before he passed away in Mexico, and we were at a hotel at about 12:30 at night, and he wanted to go get a hamburger in town. There was nothing open. The restaurant and hotel had been closed, and the guy at the desk at the valet said, "You can go downtown and get a hamburger." And so he said, "All right, well, how do we get there?" And he said, "No, there's taxis that come right to the front door every 20 minutes or so. But if they don't, it's only one road all the way into the city. Just follow it. There's a sidewalk. You can walk. It's about 30 minutes. And, I don't want to open this. And it's a straight line, so you won't get lost." So we went outside and we waited for the taxi, and it kind of wasn't coming, and we could see the town and all the lights not so far away down the road. So we said, "All right, let's walk." And I had a camera with me, and I was filming him walking down the street under the street lights. We were in the Yucatan, so the jungle was being held back by some pretty sturdy, well-built, 8-foot concrete walls. The road was very well lit. We were walking down the road, and out of nowhere, completely by surprise, as I was filming, he leapt in one large leap movement off the sidewalk into the center of the road, and he screamed like someone just killed him. And sitting on the wall, on the side of the wall, was a spider with its front arms raised because he had walked so close to it that it alarmed the spider, and he almost brushed elbows with it and scared the hell out of him. And it was just this size. It was so huge, and it was all black. That was the difference. And after he caught his heartbeat, I still had the camera, and we sort of mused over this huge creature, and I filmed it for a few minutes. And then we were done. We were done looking at it, and we went to move along. And as we walked down the street, all of a sudden my eyes started to focus on the road, and I noticed that these guys were coming up over the wall, and they'd been coming up over the wall for several minutes, and they were walking out into the street, and they were probably no less than 200. It was like one of those 70s horror movies. And they, of course, weren't coming toward us, but they were just in general coming out of the jungle. And and sitting, walking under the spotlight of the road. And I was absolutely paralyzed in fear. I had no idea what I'd gotten into. I didn't know if they bite. I don't know if they attack. I don't know anything about it. So, and he also was. He forgot I was even there because he was too focused on these monsters just slowly making their way out of the jungle. And out of nowhere, a taxi cab came tearing down the road on the opposite side, which was past, which was through a huge, tall 6-foot grass, but we could see him. And he started jumping and screaming, and the cab driver saw us, and he tore through the grass. He burst through. He swung around, rolled over all these spiders, and he threw the door open. And he said, "What are you doing out here?" And we jumped in the car and said, "Thank God, get us a burger." And he said, "Oh my God, nobody walks out here this time of night. I've never seen that before in my life." We said, "Well, the valet told us it was perfectly fine." He said, "Well, that guy lied to you." And I said, "Well, how are these guys, these spiders really? Are they harmless or do they bite?" And he said, "Well, they can bite. Not too common, but they can bite. And if they do, you might get a fever." And I said, "Well, is it something that you worry about?" And he said, "Nah. The snakes come out to eat them. And you're lucky that I just showed up because the snakes are on their way out right now." And oh boy, I'll never forget that night. Anyway, one dead one has given me plenty of anxiety now. 200 live ones. It's not something I'll ever forget. And they didn't even know I existed. They were busy doing their own thing. Alright, she's not stapled to this, despite the fact that the plastic is stapled. So I don't know if she's going to fall off the card or if she's mounted in some way. I don't want to do... I gotta take a break. I don't want to... This is just too much for me. Maybe I need a friend to be with me to supervise. I don't know. I'm kind of not sure. Because if it moves, it's going to move really fast. Alright. Let me see if I can get her in the camera there. She's covered in fur like my dog. I'm not kidding you. My imagination is not my friend right now. Maybe if I just keep her arms under the... What the hell is that? Alright. So what I'm curious about here... Guys, I can't do this. It looks like her legs are really fixed, and we're really just going to be dealing with her in this position. I'm totally okay with that, by the way. Alright, it's not going to come back to life. I was thinking I could fix her, I could adjust her legs to make her look like she's crawling over the rocks. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think she's been taxidermied, frankly. And I really want to see under her belly to see if she's got cotton under there, because that's going to affect... Okay, she's about to fall off here. Off the mount. Okay. I don't like it. Okay, so what I want to know... What the heck is that? Are those her teeth? Okay, so her belly does not appear to be excised and stuffed. So that means she's entirely dehydrated organic material. So that's we're gonna have to take that into consideration when we mount this thing. And look at the size of those teeth. Oh my God, okay, I'm gonna as long as you hold them upside down, they won't come back to life. I'm going to try to get an up-close view so you can see the size of these teeth. Oh my God. That's amazing. All right, and there is an incision under... maybe no, I can't really tell. Oh, yeah, yuck is right. Can you imagine the person that wants to buy this to use for soap? All right, so her legs are fixed. I'm not going to be able to mold her. She's going to be in the bar exactly in this position. Meanwhile, her granite stones will probably be, she'll be hiding in some succulents, some cactuses, and I need to keep you in front of the camera so you can see. She'll be hiding in some succulents, some cactuses, and these stones right here. And that's exactly how she'll be molded and mounted. And then we'll cover her in a glaze of what'll essentially be sort of a resin, except it'll be made out of soap, and you can actually use it if you want to. All right, so let's talk about these granite stones, because these are the part of the homemade... Hello there. I'm still not able to see you on my link on the computer. We're still only on Periscope. I mean, so I'm kind of leaning over to see if anyone makes a comment. We're going to talk about these granite stones, and I want to show you how to make these. And then we'll run a tutorial through the website at thermalmermaid.com. So this is soap. This is made with the cold process method. Cold process is where we did not cook or slow cook in a crock pot the soap. We cast it and then we set it to firm and cure. This is still soft. It's only about 3 days old, and we've turned it into somewhat of a dough. And here's a block, a slice of the experimental stuff I made. Now in this case, I wanted to get a granite texture so that we can make these rocks. And I also wanted it to be a contrast from her body so that we don't lose the look. So I went with white and gray. In the black here, this is just simply black charcoal mixed with glycerin so that we could get this drizzled, droopy kind of hole texture to it. The holes like H-O-L-E texture to it. So the way that we're going to make these rocks is we're going to break this apart. Now this soap is heavy in clay, and it's got like a... this in itself was somewhat of an experiment that I'll have to tweak before I turn actually this into its own project. But this is heavy in clay. There's 2 full ounces of both bentonite and white kaolin clay in this. So the soap itself, as we're creating this project, is a usable project. Once we're done with this entire thing, which the YouTube video will be posted next week, later in this week, probably Wednesday, you'll see how everything will come together with all the other pieces. But everything that this spider is cast in is handmade down to from scratch. So break off a piece. We're going to mold it and fix it into the shape of a rock. This is charcoal with glycerin. It's going to make a mess all over my hands, so I'm wearing gloves. Before we touch her again, I'll be sure to make sure we wash our hands. And I'm going to make these shapes here. Now, in some cases, I've got these crystalline, sharp pieces cut. And we may find a way to embed these in to look like crystals. But for the most part, we're going to have these tumbled rocks. And doing the charcoal this way was not my favorite way. I was actually trying to get some texture. In a regular bar of soap, you wouldn't just mix charcoal with glycerin. I just wanted to do the experiment knowing that this was going to be kind of an off-the-cuff texture, and we were going to just sort of work with it. So we're going to end up with these. Now, you don't have to worry if they start getting all matted up, because we are going to end up washing them and getting them nice and shiny. And despite the fact that I probably will only need about 15 of these, I'm going to make maybe 100, because obviously she's not the only taxidermy tarantula in the world. I might make 5 or 6 of these once we get through this first one to see how well she'll preserve. Because if she doesn't preserve, or if the melt and pour base isn't clear enough, you might not be able to see her all so well. so we're just gonna work with these and get them into random shapes. And part of the beauty of it is, it doesn't matter what you do. I've got two-tone colors and striations of black charcoal. Every single piece is going to be unique, and every single piece in this case is going to look like a piece of stone. It doesn't matter how you shape it. It is real sticky to the touch right now, and it has a very matte texture. And the way we will cure that is by washing these once they've set up a little bit. You don't even have to wash them immediately. I can let these sit for a day, then wash them when they're a little bit more firm, and then they'll gloss over and they'll become rocks, and then I'll preserve them. This still has to go through a curing process. That will be 2 weeks for these to be done before we cast them, and I'll cast these first because the entire project will all be made in one piece. But if you were to put these in a bucket and save them, they're still not even cured for a couple of weeks. So it's just this easy to make a pile of rocks. I'll do this tonight, maybe make 100. I've got about 3 pounds of soap to turn these into small pebbles. And you can see this is very different from what these finished pieces look like. See, this piece here is smooth. Actually, it looks like a stone, but it's not. It's soap. Not the same as what this looks like. And so we're just going to let it take its shape, let it sit, and then wash them really, really well. All right, guys. So this is the project coming up over on Thermal Mermaid at YouTube. The finished project will be probably done Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have the video posted. It'll be this spider in her terrarium will have cactuses, some little greenery shrubs around her. She'll be set in a cast about that large with her rocks. And unfortunately, I won't be able to mold her legs, but that's okay. You can still see her pretty well. The very bottom layer is going to be white melt and pour. And as you can tell, I don't like touching this thing. She'll show up very, very well on a white background. And that's how it's going to end up looking. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick to get this off my hands, and then I'll pick her up again so you can get a really good close look. So there you can see. There she is. There's the size of my hand. Oh, she's dead for sure. She's not alive. She's real, but she's not alive. I don't think I could handle. Well, maybe I could. I don't know. And then you can see her bottom, what she looks like. Those teeth, though, right? Oh, she's covered in hair. Now, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator just in case it twitches, so that I can sleep without worrying. What state? I'm in Connecticut. So, this is the first step in our next project. So if you want to see the finished project and see this girl cast into a bar of soap, then come on over to Thermal Mermaid And the edited version of this, without me chattering and with a full tutorial, will be posted over there. So hopefully I'll see you guys over there. What is her name? I haven't named her post-mortem. I did not own her while she was alive. From my understanding that these are actually very well taken care of, and they're by a breeder, and only sold once they die of natural causes. To see how well we could cast her. Have a contest to name her. You know, what a great idea. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off, and if you want to see more, then go ahead and subscribe here or over at YouTube, and we'll see what we can make out of her. Have a great night. You can see my hand. You can see her in relation to my hand. Isn't that crazy?